Marc Marquez is set to experience a new chapter in his legendary MotoGP career as the 9-time world champion prepares to make his first appearance on the sport's upcoming 850 cubic centimeters prototype machines during the official test at Brno. The Ducati rider will be one of 2 full-time MotoGP competitors, selected by the Italian manufacturer to take part in the important development session, with young talent Fermin Aldeguer joining him as Ducati begins gathering crucial data for the future of the championship. The Brno test will mark the first time that current MotoGP race riders are given the opportunity to evaluate the next-generation motorcycles, providing manufacturers with real-world feedback from riders who compete at the highest level every weekend. The introduction of the 850 cubic centimeters prototypes represents one of the biggest technical changes in MotoGP's modern era. Alongside the new engine regulations, teams will also work with the latest generation of Pirelli tires, adding another major factor that riders and engineers must understand before the new era begins. Because the number of available prototype machines is limited, each manufacturer is expected to nominate only 2 riders for the private test. This makes the selection process extremely important, as teams must balance current performance needs with their long-term plans for the future. Marquez's presence immediately makes him one of the biggest attractions of the Brno test. After years of dominating MotoGP with his aggressive riding style, exceptional race intelligence, and ability to adapt quickly to different machinery, many fans and experts will be watching closely to see how the Spaniard responds to the new 850 cubic centimeters concept. According to reports from Crash.net, Ducati's factory rival Aprilia will also bring championship leader Marco Bezzecchi to the test. His participation highlights how manufacturers are already beginning to shape their future strategies while the current season is still unfolding. However, not every top rider has been selected. At the factory Ducati squad, Francesco Bagnaia will not take part in the test, a decision that appears connected to Ducati's long-term rider planning. With several contract situations expected to change after the season, manufacturers are carefully choosing riders who are likely to remain part of their future projects. This situation is also visible at KTM. The Austrian manufacturer has yet to officially confirm its rider lineup for the Brno 850 cubic centimeters test, but Pedro Acosta is not expected to participate due to uncertainty surrounding his future with the team. If KTM chooses to rely on its experienced test riders Dani Pedrosa and Pol Espargaro, it would signal that the manufacturer prefers proven development expertise during this early stage of the new project. On the other hand, if KTM decides to involve one of its full-time MotoGP riders, it could reveal important clues about the direction of the team's 2027 plans. Yamaha and Honda face similar situations, with only Toprak Razgatlioglu at Yamaha and Diogo Moreira at Honda currently confirmed with their respective manufacturers for 2027. Both Japanese brands must also carefully consider who should represent them during the crucial development process. Fabio Quartararo, the 2021 MotoGP World Champion, is not expected to participate in the test as he is preparing for a move to Honda next season. The same applies to Jorge Martin, who is reportedly set to leave Aprilia and join Yamaha, meaning the teams are focusing on riders connected to their future projects rather than simply choosing the biggest names. For Marquez, however, the Brno test provides another opportunity to prove why he remains one of the most valuable riders in MotoGP history. His ability to adapt to new motorcycles has always been one of his greatest strengths, and Ducati will be hoping that his experience can help accelerate the development of the 850 cubic centimeters machine. The test will also offer a first glimpse into how different manufacturers approach the future of MotoGP. With new regulations, new tires, and a new technical philosophy arriving, every lap completed at Brno could become valuable information for the championship battle that begins in 2027. The private 850 cubic centimeters test is scheduled to take place on Monday, June 22nd, one day after the 2026 Czech MotoGP event at Brno. As the paddock looks toward a new era, all eyes will be on Marquez and the first impressions he gives Ducati's next-generation machine. Alex Marquez is set to make his return to the MotoGP paddock this weekend as the Gresini racing rider travels to Brno with the intention of competing in the Czech Grand Prix. Gresini Racing has confirmed that the two-time world champion will head to the Czech Republic and attempt to take part in the upcoming MotoGP round, marking a potential comeback after suffering a serious injury during the dramatic Catalunya Grand Prix crash 1 month ago. The Spanish rider endured a difficult moment in Barcelona after a frightening incident left him with a fractured right collarbone and a marginal fracture to his C7 vertebra. The accident happened during the Grand Prix race while Marquez was fighting at the front and chasing a strong result. Before the crash, Alex Marquez had enjoyed one of his strongest weekends of the season. The Gresini Ducati rider had already secured victory in Saturday's sprint race and entered Sunday's Grand Prix full of confidence. Starting from a competitive position, Marquez was running second and closely following Pedro Acosta when the KTM rider suddenly encountered a technical problem. Acosta's RC16 slowed dramatically on the racing line, leaving Marquez with very little time to react. Despite trying to avoid the situation, the Gresini rider had nowhere to go and collided heavily with the KTM machine. The impact sent Marquez and his light blue Ducati violently toward the inside of the track, creating one of the most alarming moments of the Catalunya weekend. The crash immediately raised concerns throughout the paddock, with riders and teams waiting for updates on his condition. Following medical checks, it was confirmed that Marquez required surgery on his collarbone. The operation was carried out successfully, but the injury forced him to miss several MotoGP events while beginning the recovery process. During his absence, Ducati test rider Michele Pirro stepped in to replace him at Mugello, while World SBK competitor Iker Lecuona took over riding duties for Gresini at Balaton Park. Now, after several weeks of rehabilitation, Alex Marquez is ready to take the next step in his recovery. Gresini Racing revealed on Tuesday that the Spanish rider had received positive medical feedback and would travel to Brno with the goal of being cleared to race. The official Gresini statement said, "After the latest medical examinations in Spain, Alex Marquez will fly to the Czech Republic this weekend with the aim of being declared FIT. However, his participation is not yet guaranteed. Before returning to action, Marquez must complete the mandatory MotoGP medical examination on Thursday at Brno. Only after receiving clearance from the championship doctors will he be allowed to return to the track for Friday's practice sessions." The comeback attempt comes at an important stage of Alex Marquez's season. After missing races due to injury, the Gresini rider has dropped to 9th place in the World Championship standings. Returning at Brno would give him a chance to rebuild momentum and recover valuable points in the remaining rounds. For Gresini Racing, having Marquez back would also provide a major boost. The team has been enjoying a strong season, and Alex's performances earlier in the year prove that he remains one of the most competitive riders in the MotoGP field when fully fit. The Czech Grand Prix will therefore be more than just another race weekend for Alex Marquez. It will be a test of his physical condition, confidence, and ability to immediately return to the intense demands of MotoGP racing. Fans will now wait for Thursday's medical assessment, where the final decision on his return will be made. If cleared, Alex Marquez will once again line up on the grid, ready to continue his fight in the 2026 MotoGP season.